Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Turning Heels podcast. I'm your host, Eric, joined as always by my co-host, Mike. Mike, how are you tonight?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. What a Summer Slam. I mean, let's just jump right into it. From start to finish, just a fantastic card full of twists and turns. I loved it. It was very entertaining to me. The ride that the Judgment Day took us on,
Yes.
all the way through to Monday Night Raw, not really knowing, who was a part of Judgment Day, who was out of Judgment Day. We knew there were some turns, but now the picture seems clearer. It makes a lot more sense. I really enjoyed the ride they took us on.
Yeah, I thought it was a really interesting ride. I think the whole show was done really well. And now I'm interested to see tomorrow night to see how they're going to build on SmackDown for their couple matches they had.
Yeah, I mean, look, we talked about the Judgment Day to start. Let's talk about Roman Reigns. He closed out the show coming out. I loved his OTC original Tribal Chief t-shirt. Like, that was pretty cool.
I enjoyed that because Sean was watching with me. He goes, "What's OTC?" And then it took me a second. I go, "Oh, original Tribal Chief."
Yeah, I kind of figured, okay, it's original, and then I went, oh my god, Tribal, like TC. I was like,
right.
yeah.
So I enjoyed it. I thought he came back at the right aspect. I was kind of surprised Jimmy didn't come back.
Yeah, I was too. I was surprised he didn't come back either on SmackDown to maybe cost the Bloodline the tag team titles.
Right.
Or during the show on Saturday night.
Which to me was perhaps the biggest letdown of the week was that men's tag team title match to me on SmackDown.
Agreed. That was horrendous. It just wasn't a good match.
Right.
I like Jacob Fatu. I think he's fantastic, but that wasn't his spot. Like, they could easily do, I suppose, the Freebirds rule, right, where any member of the Bloodline can step in the title defense.
Right.
But I mean, aside from that, like, that's supposed to be the Gorillas of Destiny spot. Tama Tonga and Tonga.
Yeah, and the fact that DIY was nothing but a transitional champion.
Yeah, and I expected Triple H to look after his boy Tommaso Ciampa a little better.
Right. Both his boys, Gargano and Ciampa.
Yeah. Let's see, they're both really his boys.
Right. Yeah, I was kind of surprised by that, but hey,
maybe they got things in mind for him. Yeah,
maybe, and then they kind of had to move that angle. But I like the swerve at the end of the women's title match, how Blair Davenport came out and helped.
I love that. Yeah.
I thought that was creative, and now we have that aspect because maybe now Blair could travel to Raw, help them out when they go against either Damage Control or
or the other 3-woman combo there, the Sonya,
Zoe,
and Shayna.
Now, this all kind of leads me to a question for you.
Yeah.
How are we going to get to women's war games? We already can speculate how we're going to get to the men's war games.
Yeah, I think that's pretty clear.
That's clear, I think.
The women's war games, I think you could do something with maybe you could even do like a Raw versus SmackDown with the women.
Right.
I wonder if you could get like a Damage Control combined with the Shayna and her group, Shayna Baszler, Sonya Deville, and Zoe Stark, like some combination of the 5, maybe against a SmackDown women's group.
Right. Because I was also thinking, because it's usually,
It's
if,
usually the hot angle, yeah.
well, not even the hot angle. It's you, because last year wasn't really a hot angle. It was damage control against Charlotte, Becky, Bianca, and Shotzi. And they just kind of threw Becky in there last minute.
Yeah.
Um,
And to be
because
honest with you, if you hadn't mentioned the women's War Games match, I probably would have forgotten all about it.
because I'm wondering, because they always do. Raw does one War Game, SmackDown does the other.
Sure.
So SmackDown's going to have the men's War Games again.
Absolutely.
So for Raw, do they do Team Liv versus Team Rhea for a War Games?
I would like it. I'd be encouraged by it. See, here's the thing, and I was fully now, follow me on this. So Liv Morgan, her little revenge tour and everything, and all of it that relates to Rhea Ripley. I was kind of making a comparison to maybe Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon back in the mid 90s
Okay.
and how they were feuding over the Intercontinental Championship.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, how Shawn Michaels went and got a bodyguard in Diesel. What if Liv Morgan were to get, say, a bodyguard like a Raquel Rodriguez?
That would be interesting.
I mean, Raquel kind of played that role with Dakota
Right.
in NXT.
Right. And Raquel and Liv are former tag champs.
Mm-hmm.
So that could work.
And, I mean, that could be the start of it. You have those two. Rhea could... Look, Liv's already got the story with Selena Vega, so there could be an ally for Rhea Ripley.
Okay.
And then it's just, I think you kind of just find different people to go along and maybe make some call-ups. I think Lyra Valkyria probably aligns herself with Rhea.
So what I'm thinking, based on your input, Rhea would be probably Rhea, Selena, Lyra, Chance, and Carter.
Yeah, that would work.
And then Liv's team could be Liv, Raquel, and then either the Sonya faction or Damage Control.
Yeah, I mean, that could work too.
Right. Or do they get a little bit more creative with Rhea, and based upon her history in NXT UK, do you go the Alba Fire, Isla Dawn, Blair Davenport, and then put in a returning Charlotte Flair for the fifth?
Look, I would sign me up for either one of that. Yeah, I mean,
I'm
that'd be great.
if that's what they're going to do.
Right.
Long range.
Yeah, it's all very curious. I mean, it seems like they're implanting the why can't I talk tonight? Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, along with Blair Davenport, as this heel group on SmackDown.
Right.
So I don't know that they're going to necessarily then have them be a part of the babyface team for War Games. Right. I mean, it could be a little conflicting, but you brought up the idea of a returning Charlotte joining Rhea Ripley. Maybe some other former allies, rivals from SmackDown, like say, Bianca Belair,
right,
and Jade Cargill.
Right.
And I'm thinking that last one, another rival, maybe someone from her recent past, Becky Lynch.
Maybe.
Well, lots of speculation, of course, a lot of time between now and November, so
exactly.
Plans change. But wow, what a week. Let's go through the card. So we had 6 championship matches, 4 title changes.
Right.
So let's start with, I guess, the 2 retentions. Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley started the night. I did think it was predictable, but well done. I would have preferred a more distinct turn from Dominic during the match.
Right. Then just
Because when he yanks the chair away from Rhea, like I think you could argue he was being the smart person there. Like, dude, Rhea, you can't crack Liv with the chair and win the title that way.
right. It was kind of like he was trying to be the smart one in her ear, like go win the title, and then this happens.
Yeah, and then when he leaves the chair there, it kind of seems like it's almost by accident. He doesn't really look like he's trying to help Liv or really anybody.
Right.
And then Liv hits the DDT with Dominic distracting the referee. Again, didn't really seem like Dominic was doing anything to sway the ref or to try to help Liv. And then all of a sudden, it's like you're not sure about the turn. And it was really coy by the cameraman. You get that sly little smile just before they go to the replay. And if you're not paying close attention, you could have missed that.
Right.
And I mean, in that regard, I'll say if what they were trying to do was make the turn at the end a real shock, mission accomplished. But I feel like there was a better way to deliver that message.
Yeah.
Because it had to be confusing for the live crowd there.
It had to be until the
kiss. Yeah.
Until the kiss. And then that was kind of just like, all right, there you go. But yeah, I think it was very, very blurred for the live crowd.
Yeah.
I didn't agree with the booking of it, mainly because as we've spoken in the past, I think they should have kept Dom with Damian and Rhea to kind of even up the sides a little bit. Because right now it's pretty wonky, the sides.
Yeah. If they were to do something to try and have a war between Priest and Rhea versus the Judgment Day, they would have to get some allies to join Damian and Rhea, because like the two of them, as great as they are, like they're not going to be able to take out, well, at least Damian Priest won't be able to take out the entire faction.
Right.
The only women in the faction is Liv, and
right.
I think Rhea can handle her own against Liv Morgan.
Yeah, I think we've seen that. Yes.
Yeah. Although, the last two losses by Rhea Ripley were both Liv Morgan.
Yes.
I mean, again, like a wild way to start. A great opening match that really set the tone for the night.
Yes.
I don't remember the exact order, so I'll just go with we'll just go with the next retention, which was the main event.
Right.
Cody Rhodes defending the WWE Championship against Roman, and then we'll jump into all the title changes and what we think of each one.
I thought the Cody Roman
or Cody Solo, yeah.
Cody Solo did what any traditional bloodline match does.
Yeah.
That slow, methodical pace tells the story. And then as soon as the Gorillas of Destiny hit the ring, you knew Owens and Orton were coming out.
Yeah, it was almost just too predictable. I was hoping it was going to be, somebody else from Cody's past. Like when Arn Anderson said that you got friends in the building.
Right.
Like I was thinking, I'm like, okay, like obviously Randy and Kevin are there, but like who else? And I obviously, we know what's coming. We got Roman showing up at the end.
Right.
I was hoping it was going to be, maybe somebody else, like almost like maybe a Ted DiBiase. Like I think that would have been a cool way to I know he's not coming back.
Right, but still.
But it would have been a cool one-off.
It would have been a cool one-off. One that I was kind of thinking, I don't know his contract status, be Ricky Starks. Would have been.
There's another one I was thinking, yeah.
If he's officially done with AEW.
Right.
Which I think he is. Or if not, he's
Yeah.
going to be regardless. So.
Yeah, I can't imagine they'd bring him back. I mean, he hasn't done much in the last year.
Yeah, and I don't know if he even wants to go back
I,
at this point.
I wouldn't.
No, no. But I thought, oh, maybe somebody will come out to
Right.
surprise us a little bit because, see, I thought someone was going to come out with after Jacob Fatu came out.
Yeah, I thought that might have been like a Jimmy Uso spot.
Right. So I was thinking, oh, maybe Jimmy Uso will come out,
Mm-hmm.
battle Fatu, and then I don't know the extent of that injury because
I mean, maybe Jimmy was supposed to come out, but when Jacob goes down like that, they say, okay, don't go out. Like, let's scrap the spot.
because some people are reporting that he was told to sell an injury to make when Roman came out that he wouldn't get involved with Roman. I don't know.
Okay, I can believe that too, because like that moment's all about Roman and Solo and that confrontation.
Right. And now the question is, when are we going to get Roman against Solo? Is it going to be in Berlin, or is that too quick?
It's a little quick, but I mean, I think you can pull it off if you want to. I mean, Roman can show up on Friday, which he's advertised to show up on SmackDown.
Right.
He could show up on Friday and just say, I'm going to whoop Solo Sikoa. We're going to Berlin, and I'm going to whoop that ass.
Right.
He could show up and do that, and then we're all set. We're locked and loaded and on our way to Berlin.
Right.
And we have our main event. Because Orton and Gunther, which that was teased, we'll get into the world title change. I guess we can do that next.
Yeah.
The Randy Orton and Gunther for the world title going to happen at Bash at Berlin. I feel like that's going to be a very pro Gunther crowd. I mean, we've talked about it in the past how even if they didn't turn him, the Berlin crowd is going to cheer Gunther because he's a hometown boy. And yeah, I fully anticipate he will be treated like a babyface in Germany.
The Ring General will be cheered amongst cheered.
Yeah.
Germany.
And Orton's no stranger to playing the role of the bad guy, and he can adjust on the fly. And that's probably why you put him in that spot.
Right.
He's a pro's pro.
Right.
Is there any chance of a title change? Again, I think we're both probably going to be on the same page. We're probably looking at a lengthy world title reign by Gunther.
Right.
But I'm just asking the question, could they swerve us here and have Gunther go all the way home just to drop the belt to Orton?
It wouldn't stun me, put it that way. Because the way that King of the Ring match ended, there's so much controversy. And I could see them, I can definitely see this happening where Orton pins Gunther, but the shoulders up.
So now we have the world title. Yeah.
Now we have one-on-one, one each, screwy finish each, and then you go into Bad Blood and have the rubber match.
And I feel like if you do that, then there's got to be like a stipulation. It's got to be like either like 3 stages of hell or like, I wouldn't want to say a ladder match. I don't think either of those two could really pull off a ladder match. But maybe, I think the 3 stages of hell probably makes the most sense. And you could have 3 different types of matches.
Or, since it's both screwy pinfalls, make it a submission match.
Yeah, screw it. We'll take pinfalls out of the equation. It's a submission match.
Right. Then you definitely have a clear-cut winner at that point.
Yeah, which I think that would definitely work to the advantage of Gunther. He has the submission finish with the Boston Crab. That's kind of his deal.
Right.
And Randy has no submission finish.
Right. And he did have the sleeper he used.
Yeah.
At Summer Slam to win it from Priest.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, he had the sleeper too. Yeah.
Yeah, he used the sleeper because after Balor distracted twice.
You could make it a last man standing match too.
You could. You can do a lot with those two. So
Yeah.
I would not be so disappointed if it's a quick reign to build up to something else.
Yeah, and it would be a good way to get Orton his 15th world championship. Because, again, we keep talking about how John Cena is probably going to break the record sometime in this next year. Well, what if he's not the only one to break it in the next couple of years? Because Randy Orton, he's at 14 world championships. Ric
Right.
Flair loves Randy. That is legitimate. That is as real as it gets in this line of work.
Right.
In a line of work that's built all around being fake.
Right.
Yeah, that is a real friendship the two of them have.
Yes. Well, it dates back to Bob and Rick for years
Yeah.
in a row. So
Okay, let's talk about some of the other title changes. One that I was very happy about, LA Knight winning the United States Championship. That was a cool moment for him.
yeah, it definitely was. It was what it was to me.
Mhm.
A title change. It really, the match itself, I'm not gonna sit there and really remember it that well.
Yeah.
The crowd was hot for it, so I think that made a lot of it. But I mean, it wasn't a masterpiece Marvel, but we all knew we weren't going to get that anyway. But
Yeah.
at least it was a crowning of a new champion, someone who's going to be on SmackDown every week, hyping the belt up. And I can't wait to see who steps up to be his first challenger, whether looks like it's either going to be Andrade or Carmelo, depending how they go.
Yeah, and look, and I've enjoyed that rivalry. I really like that they've done this whole Mello not being able to beat Andrade.
Mm-hmm.
I think now they're going to make it special when Mello does beat Andrade. It's going to mean something.
And it should.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it should. And I like that now, they're able to build up Andrade, and he's got a couple nice wins over Carmelo. And Carmelo's already as hot an act as they come. And so he didn't really need to win either of those matches.
Right.
So in my mind, everybody, you've taken what, Carmelo's already, to me, he's pretty high up there. He had a great NXT title reign. He had a wonderful run in NXT, and anybody watching him now already knows his track record.
Right.
And Andrade he had a ho-hum run in AEW. WWE doesn't want to even acknowledge that run, and they shouldn't. And so he kind of comes in down here. Well, now instead of, okay, Carmelo goes up and Andrade, now it's like Carmelo to me hasn't been, moved at all.
Right.
And instead you've just moved Andrade up.
Right.
And to me, that's how you build a star.
Exactly. And I think I feel bad for Andrade, the way he got released the first time, had to go to AEW, and just how they didn't know how to use him either properly.
No, but I'll tell you what, I think Triple H is going to figure it out.
Triple H hasn't figured out, because Andrade's run when he was NXT champion was phenomenal.
Yes.
Triple H knows how to use him, so that's the one good thing. And the fact that his father-in-law happens to be one of the biggest stars of all time doesn't
I'm sure that doesn't hurt.
Sure, that doesn't hurt. No.
And happens to be, Andrade's father-in-law happens to be a hero of Triple H's, and a very good friend and a mentor.
And someone who I think's going to get back into the good graces of WWE, because he's not with AEW anymore.
Yeah. To me, Ric Flair belongs to be a part of WWE.
Yeah, he does. I mean, Seeing him in AEW it
It
wasn't
didn't feel right. Yeah.
didn't look right. And Sting, I can get. Sting had a nice run there,
Sure.
but yeah, Flair, I just can't get behind when he was there.
Yeah. I like Ric Flair being back in WWE, being back a part. Like, I want to see him there to congratulate Randy Orton when he eventually passes Ric Flair for
Yeah,
16 world championships.
yeah, absolutely.
And I want to see Flair. I want to see Triple H. And I would love to see Batista show up at, like, say, if he were to do it at a WrestleMania, if he were to get number 16.
I think Batista might show up for that.
That would be a good story. And I know, like, those two stayed very good friends over the years.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's talk about Braun Breaker winning the Intercontinental Championship. Really a great moment for him. And boy, if there isn't a case of every time you called it, it didn't happen. And then when you didn't, it did.
Right. Thank God I did pick Braun this time.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah, because I remember you were about to say, you basically were ready to say you were picking Sammy, and then you changed your mind the last minute.
Right, because it seems like every time I called Sammy not to win and he would win, at least I got this one right. It was that moment they needed.
Yeah.
I think Summer Slam was a good place, it being the second biggest pay-per-view of the year for WWE.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a good place to strap that rocket on the Braun and say, here you go. You're the Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah.
And it's only a matter of time before we see him in a world title picture, I think.
Oh, yeah, it's going to happen sooner rather than later. If not WrestleMania 41, definitely by WrestleMania 42. Braun Breaker will win a Royal Rumble,
right,
headline a WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time.
It's when, not if.
Right. He's such a different athlete and so enjoyable to watch in the ring.
And I love his his real life attitude outside the ring. He is as humble as they come in real. Now I understand. Look, you got a character to portray, and you're out there doing it, and he does a hell of a job doing it.
Yeah, he does.
But in real life, my man is humble. He's appreciative of every moment. If you saw him on the post show, I think they told him, "Hey, just go out there and be your genuine self." And
right.
he was so appreciative. He, talked about how much he appreciated Sami Zayn for giving him the opportunity. And I'm just like, man, like, I really think the crowd deserves to know this guy.
Yeah, they do. That they do. And I really think he's going to really put himself in the upper echelon of the WWE in the next couple years.
Yeah, I heard well, actually, he was a terrible former Eagles coach one time say, he was talking about a player, and he said, man, if I could buy stock in a player, I would want to buy stock in that guy. Of course, I right away had to be like, so you want to own a person.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. But anyway, if you take away that cringe or that, like, I understood his point was believing in somebody's ability. Braun Breaker is a guy that if you could buy stock in, I would be all in on the stock of Braun Breaker.
Exactly.
Yeah. He has got future WWE champion written all over him. It's a matter of when, not if.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, whether it be and I don't feel any need to rush it, and I think Triple H is going to realize there's no need to rush that. We're going to get to that.
Right. Yeah.
Let him have a nice reign as the Intercontinental Champion. Let him beat a number of guys, work through some great stories. and you can get there to the WWE Championship, whether it be maybe winning next year's Money in the Bank.
Right.
Or, and it can be that quick. Like Money in the Bank. Hey, look, we joke, man, we're already, 4 months removed from WrestleMania.
Yeah, we are.
I mean, which means we only got 8 more months until the next one.
Exactly. We're getting there.
And all those things that, we talk about, the way too soon predictions for the next year's WrestleMania, all of a sudden they're just going to become our predictions. It's going to be happening that quick.
Yeah, it's going to happen that quick.
It's okay. We talked about. We haven't talked about the WWE Women's Championship match.
Correct.
Bayley got smoked by Nia.
Yeah. And then
I love the little Tiffany Stratton coming out.
And just when you think Bayley's going to pull off the comeback and win, Tiffany comes out and they do the thing. And at least I was the only one to pick Nia, so that was good.
Yeah.
Because you picked Liv, obviously, and I picked Rhea. So we washed out with the women's matches.
Mm-hmm.
So that was good. But I feel bad. I just think Bayley, this reign wasn't the best for her because
I feel like the Thunderdome era was her best run.
I think so too. And I think it was also the people they put her against this reign. I mean, let's face fact. I get it. They were in Scotland. But do you really see Piper Niven as a contender for a world championship?
Not right now. I mean, again, she could get there, but not right now.
Not right now. I'm trying to think if she even wrestled a Backlash.
Don't think so. But I know, like, she defended against Naomi, and then that was fun.
Yeah, she
whatever.
Naomi, Tiffany, I think she defended against before Bank. There were a couple good matches on SmackDown, but I just feel like this reign was a little disappointing for.
Oh, it was definitely lackluster. Yeah.
Right. And I'm just hoping that now I'm hoping we have that dynamic of two besties, one with the title, one with the briefcase.
Yeah.
A turn's going to have to happen. So now, as far as I'm concerned, you cannot make Nia Jax a face. It doesn't work.
No.
They've tried it. The fans don't take to her that way.
Now, the only time I really, really dug the Nia Jax face turn was just before WrestleMania 34.
Against Alexa Bliss.
Yeah. I really enjoyed that one. I thought the standing up for women who were, body shamed or, or bullied. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was a great message to send to kids and to, to young people. But yeah, other than that run, and that was only like a few months there that like I felt like that run was really strong.
Right.
After that, it really wasn't like, it wasn't good.
No.
You had her then pick a fight with Ronda Rousey just because, and it was stupid.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, I'm like, well, like, are they really going to have Ronda Rousey win the championship at Money in the Bank? Like, and I was like, that feels more like a Summer Slam moment. And then I thought, like, well, you could have whoever wins Money in the Bank cash in during the match because Ronda's going to beat the brakes off of Nia at some point. And she did, and then out comes Alexa Bliss. And look, I thought it was a good cash-in.
It was a good cash-in.
It was kind of predictable, but it was still good. Like, just because something's predictable doesn't mean it's not good. Like, sometimes the obvious answer is the right answer.
Sometimes, yes.
But, and as much as, we talked about it last week, not to go back to the Liv Morgan, Dominic Mysterio thing, I thought you made a great point when you talked about how predictable it was for Dominic to turn and join Liv Morgan.
Right.
And how it would have been much better to have, Finn Balor come out and cost Rhea the championship.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we wouldn't see that until Finn cost Damian Priest the world championship, which I didn't like that turn, like the way they did it. I liked him turning. I liked him doing something to cost Priest the match. I would have preferred something a little more subtle than putting the foot on the rope like that.
Right.
I thought Gunther should have put the foot on the rope on his own. And maybe when Priest went for like a South of Heaven choke slam or something, maybe the ref takes a bump and Priest comes up and maybe low blows him or does something, or Finn comes up and low blows Priest, does something to cost Priest the match there, as opposed to he should have been physical with Priest as opposed to just doing something to help Gunther, because it wasn't about helping Gunther, it was about hurting Priest.
Right. And I think it went off okay the way they did it because from what I'm seeing, they want to make the new Judgment Day a faction of Weasley turd heels that will cheat to win anything they can to keep their power. So I think that you're going to see the Weasley, like your typical heel weasel characters.
And I love those. You know me. I love my good weasel heel characters.
Oh, I know you do love them. And I think that's what they're trying to do with these 5 in the Judgment Day. And they're going to be weasels and they're going to cheat all the time. And it's going to almost be like a Bloodline Light.
Yeah.
Where it's...
Yeah, but I feel like the Bloodline spent too much time trying to also be like the badass NWO type heels.
Exactly. They tried too hard. But
yeah. Whereas I want this Judgment Day group. If you're going to be real, like you said, Weasley heels, well, be Weasley heels.
Right. Weasley third. You forgot the third aspect. You need that part in there too.
Like when Damian Priest is coming after you and running, they don't do the subtle little back up, whoa. Man, right. Do the full on run.
Right. I think that's what we're going to get with this group.
Like, and I heard Mick Foley one time talk about how Chris Candido taught him how to really be that Weasley heel, because when he was in Smoky Mountain with Candido,
right,
and Candido was I forget who he was working with, but he went and full on dead sprinted away, running away from this guy. And Mick says to him, he's like, "Oh man, why'd you run?" He's like, "I'm a heel. I'm a coward. I have to run. Like, why am I backpedaling? Why am I trying to be like, no, I'm not afraid of you. Screw that, man. Everybody knows I'm afraid of him. I'm running. Who the hell cares?" And that's what these Weasley heels are supposed to do.
It builds heat, and I think that's how you have to build heat with this group.
Yeah, like I liked the way that they were working that feud with Braun Strowman. Like, right. Well, they were working with him, and everybody was running away from him.
Right, and let's face it, you've got 4 guys who are on the smaller side in the WWE scale. Priest is a towering giant over all of them. Just like Braun was, you're going to have to exploit the Weasley heel, third heel.
You think any chance we see in this alliance that if that Priest is trying to get allies to work against these Weasley heels in the Judgment Day, that we see maybe a match where Damian Priest and Braun Strowman team up to take on Finn Balor and JD McDonough?
I would love to see that, but I don't know if they can even book that without it.
You can do a schmoz finish. I mean, you don't have
to do a schmoz finish. That's for certain. Yeah. But it's one of those things like it's I don't know if you could really pull that off well.
I mean, could you imagine it's like, like say JD McDonough's down outside of the ring with Braun Strowman. Priest has got Balor, and he's about ready to give him the South of Heaven choke slam and try to win the tag titles. All of a sudden, Carlito and or maybe just Carlito and Dominic Mysterio try each with a chair to nail Strowman, causing the DQ, and Strowman just kind of stands there and looks at him and takes him out.
Right. Now, one guy who I think would work as a tag team partner for Damien to go up against Finn and JD would be Rey Mysterio.
Okay, I could see that. Yeah,
that way you get Rey.
I thought you were going somewhere else, but
Rey matches up nice size wise against Finn and JD, and then you have the big man little man combo that's always worked well in wrestling.
Yeah,
with Damien and with Rey as a team, and then this way you could also get the whole Dom involved. You can bring Zelina in the picture at the LWO. You know what? You could.
I mean, Damian Priest could kind of become I wouldn't say he becomes a member of the LWO, but
they can align with them because Rhea and Damian are going to need some backup. You could use some backup with the LWO.
I mean, Damian Priest is Puerto Rican. It would make plenty of sense.
It would.
Rhea Ripley has been doing this mommy routine for the last year. I mean, it could work.
It could work.
Yeah, that would be very interesting. I would be very intrigued. The thing is, man, we're getting ready to go into this. NXT is getting ready to debut on the CW. Is that October 1st or
October 1st? So for a couple weeks in September, USA is going to have Raw, NXT, and SmackDown.
Oh, wow.
Because SmackDown goes on Friday, September 13th.
Right. It's going to be on USA. Yeah.
USA. So for 2 weeks, they're going to have everything. I'm looking because then October 1st, CW gets NXT. And I mean, the fact that they're going to pull out all the stops for NXT,
Yeah. And then, of course, January is Raw on Netflix. Which I'm very curious what that's going to look like.
I am too. I'm wondering what they're going to do.
It sounds like it's going to become very adult-oriented.
I don't see that working for him.
I don't either.
It's not the Attitude Era anymore.
No. And the people who grew up in the Attitude Era, they're me and you. You have kids. You want to show this product to your kids.
Right.
You wouldn't show the Attitude Era to your kids right now.
No. And I think that's where they've got to realize going a little edgier might not be the way to go. Yeah, people want to end the PG era and they want it to be edgier. However,
you got to find that line. Yeah.
If you look right now at a company that has tried to be edgier than WWE, look what they've done to themselves.
Yeah, but I will say AEW, and we can get into that discussion too as we get closer to All In London. We can use this as a nice transition into that. It's certainly, to me, what stood out as to why AEW isn't working is just the lack of direction.
Yeah.
It's not really about the violence. It's just violence for violence sake. And that's stupid.
Really, that is stupid at this point.
I mean, there's the whole running joke, and I know Moxley hasn't wrestled a whole lot recently, but, whenever it was Moxley working with anybody, it was whoever he's working with, hey, want to do this story? Want to hit this spot? He's like, whatever, man, let's just blade.
Right.
And it's dude, there's more to match than just getting color.
Right. And See, he's got this. I think Cornette said it.
Yeah.
He's got an unhealthy fascination with Nick Gage.
Yeah.
Like I know they wrestled in the Indies before Moxley made it big, and he's just got an unhealthy fascination with that dude.
Yeah, whereas his badass never back down kind of attitude that it seemed like he was getting to with the Dean Ambrose character, I was really digging that character.
Right.
What we've gotten with the John Moxley in AEW, I am not a big fan of.
No. Too much blood.
Yeah.
And not enough.
And I'm not a prude. I don't, like I'm okay with some blood, but it's going to mean something.
But it has to justify.
Yeah.
When Billy Graham won the title from Bruno, he
Mm-hmm.
bled because he wanted to give Bruno something because Bruno was giving him the title.
Sure.
And he bled for that match, and he pulled off the upset. And
well, Ric Flair beat Harley Race. Ric Flair had color that night.
Right. Yeah. It makes sense in traditional old spots.
Yeah.
Where unfortunately, since as much as I loved it,
Mm-hmm.
birth of ECW, and we've gotten this whole other group of deathmatch wrestling now. And
look, I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of deathmatch wrestling.
I'm not either. I'll never forget the old Granite Run Mall. I don't know if I told you this. I was walking around with the wrestling shirt on.
Mm-hmm.
This one guy goes, "Oh yeah, I'm going to wrestling. Oh yeah, I like it. We're real big fans, and we're going tonight." I said, "Oh, what's around?" Because me being who I am, I knew most of the promotions. He goes, "Oh, CZW," and I just kind of laughed at him, and I was just like, "Yeah, that really ain't that good of wrestling. That's just that match stuff." And that's the whole thing. There's that subculture, and every so often, someone influenced by that decides to do some stupid stunts, and that's what we're really starting to see, especially at the end of Blood and Guts. That was
where they were gonna set what's his name on fire. Yeah. Like, come on, Darby. Like, you're better than that. And Darby was one of those guys who, like, it's like, yes, he came up in that death match kind of spots, but he had grown beyond that.
Right.
And to me, it's okay to do that to try and get by in a market. You're trying to get noticed. But when you make it, like, you kind of got to abandon that style.
You do.
Because it's not sustainable. Like, you're going to be in a wheelchair by the time you're 40.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just not worth it. I mean, like, I watched the A&E biography on Mick Foley, and he talked about, like, all the pain and stuff he's in from all the years that he did stuff. And, like, yeah, he did some death matches and stuff, but nothing like what Nick Gage has done, and or any of these psychopaths that do that stuff.
Right. And then I don't know if you've seen the online, but Dory Funk Jr. is really going to wrestle an exploding barbed wire match.
Okay.
In Japan.
Oh boy.
Because they're doing a tribute show to Terry Funk. Now, mind you, I've read this article. It's a tag team match. Onita's on the other team, obviously.
Okay.
It's FMW, and it being Lord knows what's coming out of that crazy man's mind, okay?
Yeah.
Dory's 83, Onita's 60. Dory's tag team partner is, I think, in his 50s, and Onita's in his 60s. A combined age of 250 for these four guys.
Well, like, why are they all in a rush to join Terry Funk on the other side?
I don't know.
Like, Dory, you're 83 years old, my man. Like,
You could just go to the show and thank everyone. And I don't think anyone in their mind would say, Dory, why aren't you in there? Just go
no.
as a tribute to your brother.
Like, be there, like, and, let let them put a camera on you, let the crowd go ape shit for you, and, get the thank you funker chants, and,
Right.
like,
You don't need to do this.
see, that's the stuff that it would drive me nuts. Like, I look at a guy like Dustin Rhodes, and, like, what's he, like, in his 50s, right?
Right.
And I think, man, he's too old to be doing this.
Right.
Like, and I love what he's doing with the Von Erichs. And I think it's a great way to introduce them, to get them over with the ROH crowd and the AEW crowd. Like,
Right.
I think it's like probably one of the better stories that they're doing in the AEW umbrella right now. Is the
Yeah,
Von Erichs with the
definitely
Dustin.
is.
Yeah.
But then again, that's a backhanded compliment.
It is.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And look, and I think Dustin should be in the Hall of Fame in WWE.
He should be. I think it's going to be when he retires.
Yeah. Or whenever his contract runs out with AEW and they can bring him in. Because man, they would have loved the idea of this whole past, WrestleMania, the whole weekend was about Cody and finishing the story. How cool would it have been if they'd been able to work out something with AEW to just let Dustin go and be a part of it and induct Dustin into the WWE Hall of Fame?
It would have been nice.
As induct him as Goldust, and
Right.
it would have been cool.
It would have been. No, I'm looking. Speaking of AEW, I was just seeing if they added anything. I haven't watched the show Dynamite yet.
Yeah, I watched a little over half of it.
Okay.
I mean, MJF beating up on Kyle Fletcher. I mean, that was kind of predictable.
Right.
I mean, still, it was a decent match. I loved his kangaroo kick, the homage from last year, and him and Adam Cole. Which is Adam Cole not in AEW anymore? Like,
I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about him.
It seems like the Undisputed Kingdom is all in Ring of Honor right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's... And then Sammy Guevara is in Ring of Honor.
Yeah, and to me, he's got to be another one. Chris Jericho, you won't put in a good word for Sammy Guevara and get him into WWE?
Please get him in there.
Like, call up Paul Levesque. I know you still have his number, and just be like, look, man, would you take Sammy Guevara, sign it, make him a star?
It wouldn't be that hard. We know he could do it.
And I'm going to feel... So there's somebody else in NXT, if I can transition back to talking about NXT, who to me is just... He is going to be a star. He is 20 years old. Cravon Evans.
Oh, yeah. Javon Evans.
Javon Evans. I don't know why I say Cravon. Javon Evans.
No, he is going to be a star.
20 years old. Your boy's bouncy. I mean, he is 20 years old. The man is going to be doing this for another 25 years. Easy. And like, he's going to main event a WrestleMania. He's going to be a WWE champion.
Right.
Like, it's like everything. He has me so excited for the next 5 to 10 years of this business.
Yeah. No, it's NXT does have a lot of talent that I think is going to be strong into the main roster for many, many years. And both sides, men and women.
Yes.
the divisions keep getting stronger and better in NXT. I really thoroughly enjoy that show. I Part of me, when Raw goes to Netflix, I'd love to see a 2-hour show, but I know it's going to be 3
Yeah.
because to me it does drag on with the 3 hours. But
NXT is the perfect length.
right,
The 2 hours and like 10 minutes or whatever because they go over a little bit.
over, and I'm wondering if the CW is going to let them go over.
I hope so. Oh, I hope so. Because man, I love what NXT is doing right now. I'm so excited for what they're like. I thought Lexus King was going to step in there and just become a champion, and like he's been kind of forgotten about.
Yeah,
But but like Javon Evans has been incredible. What's his name? The Native American.
Eddie Thorpe.
Eddie Thorpe. At
Yeah.
first, I thought, man, I'm not gonna like this guy. Like, I can't identify with him. He is so freaking good.
Yeah, no, it's amazing how they're able to build such good stars now in the performance center.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
they are making stars. Like that is a star factory.
yeah,
I like again. They have me so excited. As much as at times AEW has me discouraged about the business, like NXT has me beyond excited for the business.
Yep.
But what really has me excited to talk about, and I'm surprised I've been able to go this whole hour without talking about him, is the one guy I gotta believe. I've been saying it for weeks. WWE has to just purchase this man's contract. He say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. My wife got to see that really for the first time the other night watching NXT, and because normally I'll watch it in my man cave, and she doesn't like NXT. She watches Raw and SmackDown with me. She's a casual wrestling fan,
right. Yes,
and it's fine. Like I get it. Like it makes sense. I'm a psychopath. I know you are too. Like we consume it like it's our job.
mm-hmm.
And to her, it's a very casual experience. And when she saw that and she saw my reaction to Joe Hendry, and she was like, "Oh my god!" Like she looks at me, she goes, "You're a dork," and I go, "I wear that like a badge of honor."
Yes. Tuesday with
Mm-hmm.
Bash. The family didn't feel like watching it, but I fast forward to Joe Hendry, and of course,
Sure.
Nikki gets excited, Sean gets excited. It's the whole
Yeah.
ambiance of Joe Hendry, I think, at this point.
Yeah. My man, he's just WWE has to figure out how they can get him on their roster full time.
Right.
If you have to split him up between the two shows for a while, so be it. If you have to send some guys over to work some Impact Wrestling, so be it.
Right.
Like you've just got to figure out what can we do so that we can have Joe Hendry.
Right. And remember, it's TNA now.
Yeah.
They rebranded again.
Oh, did I call them Impact?
You called them Impact again.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. Yep. TNA. But you've got to work with TNA. You've got to make this happen. Because, look, what we need right now is the answer to all of life's questions. 252 pounds of pure motivation. All that you have to say is, we believe.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. I can't say enough good things about Joe Hendry. I need him stand and deliver 2025 Joe Hendry to win the NXT championship.
It might happen.
I really, really hope it does. He deserves it. and we deserve it. We deserve Joe Hendry.
We do. I think he's going to make a Royal Rumble appearance in 2020.
Yeah, I really do. I do too.
Because
He's got to be like
champion in the ladies' Rumble twice.
Mm-hmm.
I have a hunch you're going to have it again this year. Whoever is the knockout champion February of 2025, I think will be in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that the TNA Women's Champion will be in the Royal Rumble. And could we have the TNA Men's Champion also in the Men's Royal Rumble?
They could.
I mean,
or they could just say,
I don't think Nick Nemeth will be in the Royal Rumble.
No.
Because you'd have to acknowledge the Dolph Ziggler and
they could do it.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I suppose they could, but like to me, it would make more sense a Josh Alexander, a Moose, or obviously Joe Hendry.
Right.
But lots to look forward to. All of that, man, is still way down the road. We've got to. Well, I guess next week is when we'll give our predictions for All In, because the following week there won't be a show in 2 weeks because I'll be on vacation.
Okay.
So next week we'll give our predictions for whatever we know of All In.
Okay.
And then we can exchange text messages and I can give you the rest of my predictions as we get closer.
Yeah, because they're going to add like 15 matches.
Oh, yeah. But to me, like the core of this event has been booked. You've got the Women's Championship, Toni Storm defending against Mariah May. You've got the AEW Championship, Swerve Strickland versus Bryan Danielson. You've got the TBS Championship with Mercedes Moné versus Britt Baker. And you've got the American Championship, MJF against Will Ospreay. Just call it the International Championship and stop with all the. Well, I feel like I'm going to get on my soapbox again. I'm going to stop myself. But can we stop with all the championships?
Yes, we need to.
Yeah, and I thought maybe we had gotten rid of at least one with the 6-man championships, but now they separated those, so no dice.
There you go.
Yeah.
Just what you wanted.
All right, Mike, anything to add before we get out of here?
No, I think we've talked about enough this week.
I think we have too. Everybody have a great week. We'll see you next week. And until then, happy wrestling, everybody.